All right, just a couple days away from signing day. How does it feel to put this recruiting process finally behind you and officially be a Sun Devil?
I'm really excited. I've been committed for over a year now, so finally putting pen to paper and really being a Sun Devil, I'm really excited for that.
Over that course of time, I believe September of 2024. How did that relationship with Kenny Dillingham and Marcus Arroyo kind of develop over that season?
They're great people, so I've always liked them. They're a big reason I'm gonna be a Sun Devil. So just them being there and constantly believing in me and just checking up on me, showing that they really want me to be that out there in Tempe. So I'm really excited to be with them as my staff.
And of course, being an elite quarterback recruit, just because you're committed doesn't mean other schools wouldn't be still trying to get you over to their side. But ultimately, over the course of the year since that commitment, you were some of the things that can continue to sell you on ASU and the vision that Coach Dillingham has.
Um, just success. This year it wasn't their greatest year, but even with all the injuries they had, they still found a way to get to a bowl game, still have a chance to win 9 games on the year. So just the way the program is going, it's really skyrocketing right now. And just to see the production they have, even dealing with injuries and stuff like that, it's really exciting.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. When seeing a program that obviously came with expectations, had so many injuries and so many critical spots, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and
Mhm.
yet week in, week out, still found a way to get wins and some big wins along the way. What did that really kind of say to you about perhaps the program culture as well as just obviously the players on the field?
It's a big culture thing. When the coaching staff we go through some injuries, we lose some real big guys that we need. Just for them to come back week after week and really get these twos going, just to be successful, it really tells a lot about that coaching staff.
Of course, for your own senior season, it's made some big strides as well. It looks like you had a 28-2 touchdown interception ratio, 1,100 yards on the ground, as well as nearly 20 rushing touchdowns. When you kind of look back upon this past year at the high school level, where do you feel you made the greatest strides?
Just making the right decisions, not putting the ball in danger too much. Those interceptions, they weren't really putting the ball in danger, just some miscues. So just really taking care of the ball and going through my progressions and stuff. The staff we have out here at Del Valle, they've really helped me throughout my career at Del Valle. Just learn year by year, get better, my feet and all that.
How do you feel that you've grown as a leader over the course of your final high school season?
I think I did real well, when you're a younger guy that takes that starting spot, it was kind of hard for me to be a leader, I'm playing with these guys who are 3 years older than me. So it's kind of hard to lead, but once you get older, a little more mature, it's easier to take that leadership role.
Of course, you're one of, I believe, 8 Texas commits in this 2026 class for the Sun Devils. How have you seen kind of this Texas to Tempe pipeline continue to flourish throughout the course of 26?
These coaches do a great job of recruiting in Texas, and it's just because they care. So just showing that they really care about us as just people, not just players. So just that, it really helps them recruit in Texas.
As one of the top recruits in the entire 2026 class nationally. You obviously know a lot of very high level players across the country. But how have you all kind of seen perhaps the overall perception of Arizona State grow over the last couple of years? And how are the Sun Devils viewed? You feel given their level of success over the last couple of seasons?
I think everyone's starting to earn respect for us out in Arizona. 2 years ago, I think it was, we win 3 games. That's real rough. No one really cares about the Sun Devils, but this new staff turning this program around and really turning them into something. We're in the playoffs last year. Even with injuries this year, we're going to a bowl game. So I think everywhere around the country, we're starting to gain respect.
Now, when you look at this entire 2026 group of signees for the Sun Devils, what are your thoughts on this class? You and the fellow prep guys that are going to become the next generation of Sun Devil players.
I really like the dudes in our class. They're great people, not only good players. Cool to hang out with, and I talk to them all the time. and a lot of underrated dudes. Some weren't as heavily recruited as they should have been, but we got a whole lot of dogs coming in this 26 class.
Yeah, when you look specifically at some of the playmakers on that side of the ball with you, Carde Mack, another Texas guy as well, Cooper Reed, Hayden Virtue, the tight end, just among others. What do you think about that group of offense, or the level of offensive firepower that's being added in this class?
I'm really excited for it. We have Carde Mack, who he was at Tascasita's almost their whole offense, and being able to produce at that big 6A level at a big school, that really shows a lot. Cooper Reed, that dude's what, 6'4", 6'5". There's videos of him everywhere just mossing people, and he'll get by you as well. So I'm really excited to throw to him. We got a bunch of big old linemen, which as a quarterback you're always really excited to see when you go on your OV and you got to look up at these dudes. It makes you really excited.
Spring ball is just a few months away right now. What kind of excites you the most? The prospects of just in a couple months hitting the practice field with the Devils.
I'm excited to learn and do what I can to help the team. I chose to graduate in December to be out there, start learning the system, and help wherever I can.
And of course, depending how things play out, there might be some great opportunity to go out there and stake a claim at maybe being a year one starter. But what are some of the things that during those spring practices in a few months that you really want to make sure that this coaching staff knows about you and what you bring to the field?
I'm gonna work my tail off. I will be the first guy in the facility and last guy out. I'll come in for every meeting. I'm gonna stay after and watch film, go through all my reads. I'm gonna be the hardest worker on this team.